how do you came to this industry, and like what are the main things that we should keep in mind?
I don't know, something sparked in me a long time ago, which was to like feel the fear. It's a book that I read, and it's a really good book that I recommend. It's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And like as part of my journey that I was on, there's a lot of books that I've read that have kind of inspired me in some ways.
So, welcome back, guys, to this podcast. Today, we are going to talk about relationships. It's very important in today's day to understand about this term, understand more deeper thing into this. And for this particular thing, we have a very special guest with us. And today we have Blaze with us. And she is a relationship coach. She is coaching people from a long time. And there are a lot of things that we are going to learn today. We are going to explore today, to make sure to watch this podcast till the end, and let's dive deep into it. So, hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much
Okay.
for your precious time. So, Blaze, let us get started. And first of all, I want you to introduce to the audience. Can you tell us more about you?
Okay, so at the moment I am working with people to I focus on relationships because I think that is the core of like our existence is to relate to other people, to be in connection.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the healing that we have to do, which is kind of the work that I do is all around healing mostly. And I feel like we all have stuff to heal in that area. Like there's so many issues in like relationships, how people connect with each other. There's so many blocks, so many barriers.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that can be fixed or healed from just doing inner work on ourselves. And so I help people to kind of explore what attachment wounds they have, like what stories and beliefs like are stored in their subconscious. So like kind of bringing that out of the subconscious into awareness, and then that then gives you the power to kind of change things, and that then will affect your reality and hopefully change the way that you experience life, relationships, and everything
Right.
really.
Right. So you are like coaching people from a long time for relationships and like healing people mainly. So I just wanted to know that how do you came to this industry? Like what happens in your life, or what was your life before, and what is your life right now at the moment? What happens so that you came to this industry?
Yeah, so I guess I've always had like this call or this pull towards kind of helping people, and like this real deep interest in like how people work, psychology, just like existence. I had just so philosophical in a way, and like how I think about things. So I've always been wanting to like understand more. I'm always like, I want to understand more. Why are people like this? Why do we do this? Why is that like that? So um I grew up with really like heavy anxiety and a lot of like self-worth issues, like just hiding myself and not being my true self, and just so many things that I didn't even realize I wasn't even being me. And then um I just kind of went on this huge journey where I needed to find some way out of like
Mm.
feeling the way I felt. Like in my head I knew I couldn't live like that, with the anxiety. So I just kind of went on this journey. It was like my spiritual kind of awakening, if you want to call it that, where I just started to learn more about myself, started to connect to myself more, and over time started to heal a lot of these things. And in that process, like I studied psychology, and so I was exploring the psychology and the spiritual kind of aspects at the same time, and um it like seeing how it all like interlinks, and that's kind of what inspired me to bring that together. Like the style of coaching that I do,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of brings it together, because I feel like you have to work on both levels in order to heal things. It's not just like one, it's not just in the mind or not just in the body, but it's also the spiritual, the energetic space around you. So yeah, my aim is to bring all that together. And I one of the biggest transformations that I had is that where I started to become more aware, I started to become aware of patterns in my relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and became I got to a point where I was able to become accountable in that, instead of being like, oh, it's always someone else's fault, or oh, it's always this and it's always something external that's the problem. I was like, why is this pattern repeating? Why am I in this cycle? And so when I started to explore that more, I started to learn more about my own wounds and my attachment wounds, like things that I internalized from my parents' relationship, and like toxic kind of patterns from that, and different wounds that I have because of the way, like the experiences I had as a child, that then influenced how I showed up in relationships. And I was able to just kind of have this huge awakening of being like, oh, it all makes sense. And now I get it. And actually, now that because I became aware and I was able to be accountable in that, I was like, I can now change this. I can
Mm.
actually, it doesn't have to be the same anymore, because once you have that awareness, you can't then sort of repeat the same pattern without really questioning yourself and being like, what am I doing?
Right.
So, yeah, I guess the end of that result led me to then finding like my soulmate. And yeah, and now I'm just really happy in my relationship, and I continue to work on it and we
Mm-hmm.
continue to work together. But yeah, it's just it's a whole different like
Right.
life than
Right.
what I had, what I was living or what I thought was going to be like.
Blaze, as you tell us about that, how do you came to this industry and like what are the main things that we should keep in mind? I also wanted to know that what are the challenges you have faced in your journey to be who you are right now? Because right now I can see that you are very active on like social media, you are helping a lot of people, but it's not too easy to become confident and like self coach. So how you
Yeah.
came?
I mean, it's just been a gradual kind of unfolding, really. Like, if you saw me 10 years ago, you'd be
Yeah.
like, that's the same person. Like, I was so timid. Like, I didn't want to be seen. Like, I would always be like hiding in the background. Like, don't don't ask me questions. Don't come to me. Like, um, any like time someone would like speak to me face to face, I'll just turn into like a tomato and be really like, I just couldn't deal with it. And so yeah, I've come a really long way. And I think for me, I don't know, something sparked in me a long time ago, which was to like feel the fear. It's a book that I read, and it's a really good book
Mhm.
that I recommend. It's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And like as part of my journey that I was on, like there's a lot of books that I've read that have kind of inspired me in some ways, but this one in particular, because I knew I moved with a lot of fear because of my anxieties, and I was aware of that. And like the way that this book kind of touched me was like, sometimes you have to like, you got to push yourself out of your comfort zone. You have to feel like the fear is not necessarily a bad thing. It's what you do with it that determines whether or not it's bad. So sometimes the fear is rational, like sometimes there is a fear because there's actually a danger or something, but sometimes the fear is just because of the self-worth wounds that you have, the fear of being seen.
Yeah.
There's no real danger there other than what you perceive, or the judgment that you perceive that you might receive from others. And so in those things, I was just like, this is something I need to push myself with. I need to try and push myself out of my comfort zone. And I took baby steps, like with awareness, just
Right.
trying to feel into stuff. And I mean, there was times, honestly, where, especially with the social media thing, because it is like you're fully seen, like you're out there. There's no way of hiding yourself once you're online. But and now it's fine. Now I don't care. I'm just like, this is me, this is what I'm saying, and I'm not worried about how people are going to
Yeah.
receive that, because that's not my.
So
But yeah, in the beginning, I sorry.
no, no worries, no worries. So I just wanted to know that would you like to share your secret sauce? Like I can see that you are very confident in front of the camera. You are sharing all the things that you have in your like mind in the like social media. So if the viewers want to be into the social media, So can you share some of the like secret sauce that you have, like how to be confident, how to
Hmm.
be in front of the camera, because that is a good skill that you have.
I Yeah, I would say my best advice is to first just start doing it, because once you do one video, like you can start rolling with it, and you can take like small steps. Like for me, I didn't want to speak. Like when I first started doing it, I wouldn't post like even my face, and then I gradually was like, right, I'm putting my face out here, and then it
Mm-hmm.
was like reels came out, and it was like do reels, and I was like, what? I can't be on video. And I honestly, I like, the good thing is about technology, you can record and record, you don't have to post.
Yeah,
But actually, like sometimes that's worse, because then you keep trying to do it better and better. My best advice is just put it out there. Like you don't need to have 100%. You just need to show up. And everyone is human, everyone's gonna stutter. I do it all the time. I say the wrong word, I mix up my words. I don't delete it, I'll just still post it, because it's like you can't be a perfectionist, because that's not reality, you know?
right.
And so yeah, just baby steps. Like I started by just, I would do videos where I was in it, but I wasn't speaking at first, and just with like text, because that felt a little bit safer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I gradually like moved towards actually speaking and being on video, and yeah, just pushing myself to just keep doing it at the end of the day. And it's just
Okay,
like the more
I
you
got
do
it.
something, the less scary it becomes, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Let's talk about like your the relationship thing because we are distracted from the topic. But yeah, no worries. That was good. That was a good information. So, like, please, like, there are a lot of people who came to you with their problems, and with there are a lot of things that you solve. There are a lot of healing thing that you do. Would you love to share some of the stories of your clients, or some of the things that blows your mind, that what this is different, like, would you love to share some stories of your client?
Okay, let me think.
Yeah.
I mean, I always see, like, the thing is with this work, like everyone wants to see like the dramatic, like quantum leap from one place to another.
Hmm.
And for me, the most beautiful thing that I witness when I'm working with people is the this tiny, like the tiny shifts that happen along the way that
Hmm.
seem so small, but actually like it all builds up to that point where you're like, oh, now everything's different. And I think that's my favorite thing to watch in my clients, because it's not they don't realize, but like along the way it's like, hey, we're doing this work, we're doing attachment healing, we're connecting to the inner children, we're doing these things, and then it isn't until a moment happens where they deal with it differently, and they're like, wow, this is not how I would have dealt with it before, you know? Like I had a client who um was very like, she would struggle, like if a relationship came to an end, and she would kind of completely lose herself, or go into kind of self-destructive patterns and behaviors, and really just not be able to hold herself in her emotions. And we worked together for a while, and towards sort of the end of us working together, she actually experienced a kind of like a breakup with someone, and where she separated from someone, and she was just amazed in herself, because she was like just able to sit with her emotions. She wasn't like going into her head about different stories about why it's happened. She was like, I know that this means that I'm meant for something better, and I can allow myself to be sad, but I can also, you know, move through it. And she was doing like really healthy things, like going for walks and like getting air and being in nature, rather than like more self-destructive patterns. And
Right.
so yeah, those are the shifts that I think are just beautiful, because it doesn't seem maybe that huge, but it really is,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
can understand that. Please, I can understand that. And as you talked about the girl who went to the breakup, and can you tell us some tips for the viewers as well? Because, like, if somebody is going through a breakup, how they can like overcome, and how they can
Yes.
like get back to
Okay, yeah.
the.
Yeah, no, yeah, so this is what I work with somatic experiencing and stuff, so which is getting into the body. And basically what I recommend is like doing this work, doing work like having a routine or a practice like every day that helps you to connect with your body,
Uh,
which helps you to be more connected to your emotions, your feelings, learning how to regulate your emotions. It is such a huge thing. Like I think as adults, we think we're just okay. We're just like, yeah, we're good. And we just deal with everything. But actually, a lot of the time, we're not really managing our emotions very well. And the more dedicated you can be to connecting to your body and feeling, because you get sensations in the body with all different emotions. And a lot of the time, we dismiss these little signs in the
right.
body. And so the more aware we can become of them, the more power we have over sort of managing and controlling our emotions rather than them controlling us. So then, so I do a practice with my clients called resourcing, which is basically finding things that make you feel safe, connected, joyful, at peace. So it's like a memory or an image in your mind or someone that you think of, right? And you kind of use that as like a tool to bring you back to that kind of calm place. And yeah, I don't know how to explain this in a simple way, but like it's almost like a pathway. So like every like experience that you have will trigger a response,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like sending messages to the brain of how to respond to your experience, right?
All right. Got it.
And like the sort of pathway to go to when we're triggered or like activated and fight or flight kind of thing is very like well established. But for a lot of us, especially if we've experienced trauma and difficult experiences, that pathway to go to like the calm, like connected place is not as strong. So when we work with resources, we're kind of strengthening that connection so that in a moment when something is activating, you have more power to kind of control that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Complex kind of topic,
So
but yeah.
the thing is that we have to understand our body, we have to understand who we are, and then we can, like, there are the strategies that you tell to the audience to work on. So amazing. So Blaze, like, you're doing a great job. We have seen your like videos that you create, and I have seen that in most of the videos you are practicing lots of like spiritual things. You are like, I have seen one of your video where you have taken like something in your hand and you were just rotating all around the body. So what
Mhm.
was that? Like,
So that the smoke,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Right,
this is,
right, right.
so I work spiritually as well and like my
Mhm.
own spiritual practice. So I'm very conscious of like energy that can get stuck to you. And so I use it's called Palo Santo. Some people use sage. It depends what you prefer.
Mhm.
Um, but the smoke clears like
The
negative
aura.
or heavy, yeah, energy from your aura. So
Okay.
it's good to do it regularly because whenever you go out, you interact with people, you can get energy stuck to you. So it's just cleansing, really cleansing the space. Yeah,
So it's a aura cleansing. So okay,
yeah.
amazing. So Blaze, like the audience wanted to know that like how they can connect to you, and as you told us that you are also working on some courses, you are also working for some of the things to help our viewers. So how you can
Mhm.
help our viewers, and like let me, like, I want to know more about your courses as well.
Yeah, okay, cool. So I do a few different things at the moment. I have one-to-one coaching, which is obviously a lot more like an intensive kind of program, really personalized. I work very intuitively, so I don't work to a specific framework. It is very, very focused around the individual. Um, but yeah, so I have one-to-one. I also do a group program called Calm Connections, which is yeah, really, really nice because it kind of has that community feel to it as well, where everyone in there can actually reflect with each other and talk to people who have the same experiences, which is really like helpful, I think, for um just boosting people's kind of confidence in
Mm,
continuing their journey.
mm,
Um, And yeah, I have some courses coming up. I'm doing one around kind of focus on like boundaries and creating healthy boundaries. Um, and I'm doing like an online retreat as well next
Mm.
month, which is just an online 5-day event, which is going to be, it's all about like self-love and self-worth, and yeah, not just the affirmations and stuff. It's like real embodiment work. And I've got a breathwork practitioner and a yoga teacher joining me on that as well. So it's gonna be really, really amazing. So I would
Amazing.
recommend everyone to join that. It'll be great.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So, guys, you can just go and follow her on her Instagram. I am going to give the link in the description. If you want to connect with her, you can go and drop a follow and just write the messages. So, I'm damn sure she's going to reply you. Apart from that, if you have any other doubts or anything that you want to discuss with Blaze, you can just write it down in the comment section. So, Blaze, I think, like, thank you
Well,
so much for your time. This was amazing. We got to know about you, about your business, about the coaching program. Like for sure, audience are going to connect with you.
thank you so much. Thanks for having me. It's been really nice.
Thank you.